Man, where to start with the New York Mets? What a disappointing season it's been. What a sideshow it's been. Mets Twitter is blowing up every day. I don't know if the manager's gonna have a job. Who knows what's gonna happen? Freddie Peralta, what a disappointment he's been. I mean, really, I try to stay positive, and like I said before, or like I've said, the Mets were the team going into the season like, man, I hope they're good. And it's tough, they're a team that really has only been in the postseason 11 times. They're a team that has had a lot of good players that just haven't really clicked, and this seems like one of the most glaring instances of that, where they've had a good team that just hasn't been able to click. And, they got guys like Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos who haven't panned out when guys across town have been panning out like nobody's business. They got big acquisitions. My quote is that Brett Beatty is Ben Rice is what Brett Beatty should have been. And we kind of got unlucky with that. I mean, Ben Rice obviously went to Dartmouth, so, he's got some like crazy Dartmouth brain that probably helped him get better. But, Brett
Too
Beatty,
smart to want to be a Met.
Maybe, but Brett Beatty was man, he's kind of fallen off the mark. Same with, speaking of Mark Vientos. I mean, I remember watching him in 2024 and thinking, wow, this guy is like, we've struck gold with him. He was confident, he was swaggy, and now he's kind of just, he's become a shell of himself. And, I think about him a lot. I'm worried about him, really.
What time was the last random time, miscellaneous time you found yourself thinking about Mark Vientos?
Probably this morning, honestly, or last night. He went to a World Cup game at Lincoln Financial Field, and they were making fun of the way he was standing, which was pretty funny. But he plays into all that stuff. He's such a good New York athlete that just not have the New York skill right now. But
He's not good at baseball.
Who knows what's going to happen with him? Who knows where David Stearns goes? I think from what I'm seeing out of him is that he knows that he's probably going to be here for the full length of his contract. He knows he's got Steve Cohen's ear. He knows he's got his checkbook. I think his decision-making has been what happens when you put a big fish in a small pond in a big pond. You know what I'm saying? He's going out, he's buying all these ridiculous diamond chains, and then he realizes that, it doesn't really look well or look good on the, $40 Old Navy shirt that he got. You know what I'm saying? So, he's got some work to do. Obviously, it's a learning experience. He's had successful teams in the past before. He tried to bring his success from Milwaukee by getting Craig Counsell a few years ago, and then bringing in Freddie Peralta, or trying to get Craig Counsell. Obviously, he failed, but he brought in Mendoza, obviously, and to many people's dismay, I think Mendoza's been a good manager. I think people like him. I know people don't get hired and fired whether or not people like them, but, I mean, they kind of do in this day and age. I mean, we're kind of built in a society where a lot of people get jobs because they're liked by their coworkers, and they stay there because they're liked by their coworkers. And I think that's kind of where we're at with, I almost said Fernando Mendoza. With Carlos Mendoza, he's put out good lineups in the past. He's made good decisions in playoff games. He's made good decisions in regular season games, but he's also made bad decisions. But that's why an MLB season is 162 games, so you can weed out all the mistakes and you can see how good a person really is.
You think it's hard to manage a baseball team?
I would say that it's probably one of the hardest jobs ever.
I would think it's the easiest one to coach out of all of the major sports, by far.
Because you have to look at all the instances. You have to look at all the things down the line. You have to manage personalities, even though baseball players don't seem to be that personality full. They do have personalities, and there are a lot of people you got to manage in that locker room. It's bigger than an NBA roster, smaller than a football roster, but there are less coaches than a football roster. So I think that job of a manager is so important because that's really who everybody looks to, rather than in football where it's like, oh, I love my offensive coordinator, I love my defensive coordinator. We'll see what happens. I believe they're 8 games under 500 right now, 8 or 9 games. They just embarrassed themselves against the Phillies, which they've been doing a lot the last couple of years.
Question.
Yeah.
General opinion on Luis Torrens, and then most overrated player on the roster and most underrated player on the roster.
Luis Torrens is a good backup catcher. They extended him. They kept him around. I think people like him. He's better than Tomas Nido. Obviously, the bat doesn't come around. I think people like pitching to him. I think that he looks good in a Met uniform. I think that he's played in big games and had big hits a lot of the time. And yeah, I like Luis Torrens.
I like Luis Torrens.
Yeah, I mean, he's, part of the Yankee catching tree, but, that's what he's here for, to just be kind of a New York guy. In terms of overrated, underrated, I mean, we have the most overpaid roster in sports history, just based off money to wins, how much we're paying for each win, if you want to go back to that Moneyball.
And even to the identity of the organizations. Maybe you're trending in the other team in the city's identity slightly.
Yeah.
Have the Mets ever been thought of as the team that spends too much money?
That's true. And I think, like you said, you get excited when you pick up a team like the Mets and you want to make brass decisions with a lot of money. So, I mean, we'll see. I think in terms of underrated, I think the bullpen has been really good. And the bullpen has had a lot of good moments for this team. Devin Williams has been pretty underrated. A lot of people
Luke Weaver.
A lot of people love to talk about Devin Williams when he's bad, but when he's good, it seems like a lot of people don't have much to say. So I'll stick with those guys for now. I think, our young outfield, even Juan Soto is still young. I think for the next 5 years, that's a good thing to look forward to. This team reminds me a lot of the 2014 team. I'll try to get into that more on the Twitter and on the other spaces that we have to kind of talk about this team. But it reminds me of a team that had a lot of young pitchers coming up that, there was stuff to get excited about in the farm system. Matt Harvey, Zach Wheeler, Noah Syndergaard. That's kind of how I feel with Ewing and Benj right now. They've kind of got their confidence. Ewing has had confidence from the moment he got here. Benj, he started slow, but he came up. He's come into his own. He's really happy to be there. I think he just needed a friend, really. But yeah, I mean, the team is young in certain aspects and old in other aspects. We'll see what happens when Lindor comes back. We'll see how the rest of the season plays out. Next year, obviously, they're going to be in on every big free agent. They'll be big on any free agent coming out the next 5 to 10 years, I think, as well. I'd be excited if they locked up some of these younger guys, but they don't seem to be big on extending people. Maybe that's part of the David Stern's experience, which maybe he has to kind of leave in Milwaukee. But, I mean, especially when you look at other teams and what they've been able to do. So, yeah, I think I'm obviously disappointed in how the season's gone. The future, I'm excited about, cautiously optimistic. But, I mean, yeah, we'll look forward to see how they try to get this turnaround going. And then the trade deadline, obviously, is going to be a big time for them, whether they buy or sell. It'd be good to buy players or bring in people that can be here the next 2 years, especially with weaker free agent classes. You see the Yankees start to do that across town, and it's led them to a lot of wins with pickups like Ryan McMahon and Jazz Chisholm. Just being able to kind of get a feel for New York and get to be able to fit. It's hard to judge someone off half a season, especially down the stretch in a playoff race like what they had to do last year. Obviously, I didn't want Ryan Helsley or Cedric Mullins back, but somebody that can be here next year and learn what it's like to be in and around the stadium and become comfortable, I think that'll be good for them. But opposed from that, where I'm at with them right now, I would say like 7, I guess a little higher than the Jets, maybe 80%.
I was gonna say you're gonna do it yourself.
Yeah, 82%, I think.
And we're gonna track this, so we have how Phil's feeling about.
So 82, 79. Obviously, maybe the Jets are a little lower, I guess, but the Mets are a team that obviously you can feel good about just because the owner is so committed to winning. But I mean, they gotta fix their mistakes.
So the final number,
82.
82%. Phil's Corner, Mets edition.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Jets and Mets out late June. Hopefully, better days ahead. Thank you, Phil. As always.
Yep.
Cool. Good stuff.